The dual carrier groups provide persistence, redundancy, and the ability to attack from multiple directions simultaneously. The THAAD and Patriot batteries say that planners expect retaliation and have prepared to absorb it. This is not a deterrence posture, dressed up as readiness. This is readiness. Whether it becomes action depends on diplomatic talks currently underway in Geneva. It depends on what Iran's leadership believes the armada outside its borders actually means. And it depends on decisions that will be made in the coming days by people in rooms none of us will ever see. But the weapons are there, the pilots are there, the carriers are turning into the wind. And as of late February 2026, the likelihood of the largest regional war in a generation is by any measure at a historic high.
Today, we have to understand that Iran ultimately is governed, and its decisions are governed by Shia clerics, radical Shia clerics, okay?
We have a big armada, we have a big fleet heading in that direction. We'll be there pretty soon. So we'll see how that works out.
At the same time, as demonstrated during the aggression of 13 June 2025, Iran remains fully prepared.
Somewhere in the Arabian Sea, an aircraft carrier is turning into the wind. Right now, it is the USS Abraham Lincoln, and just days behind it, crossing the Mediterranean, comes the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced warship ever built. 2 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, 120 combat aircraft, 50,000 troops. This is the largest concentration of American military force in the Middle East since the invasion of Iraq. And almost no one is talking about what exactly has been assembled and why. In this video, we are going to walk through every major weapons system in this build-up. What it is, what role it plays, and what it tells us about what the United States is actually prepared to do.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thanks for recognizing all of our folks out there doing our nation's work, and nice to see everybody on this early Sunday morning. Last night, on the President's orders, U.S. Central Command, under the command of General Eric Kurilla, executed Operation Midnight Hammer, a deliberate...
To understand what's in the region, you first need to understand what didn't work. In June 2025, the United States launched Operation Midnight Hammer. 7 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers flew to Iran and dropped 14 of the largest conventional bombs in existence on 3 nuclear facilities: Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. The strike was a tactical success. Damage assessments described the destruction as extremely severe. And it wasn't enough. Because Iran's most critical nuclear facility at Fordow sits under 80 to 100 meters of solid granite rock. And the moment the bombs stopped falling, Iran began sealing tunnel entrances and hiding production equipment from satellite observation. The clock restarted. And by early 2026, the intelligence picture had shifted enough that the Trump administration made a decision. This time, they would not send a surgical strike team. they would assemble an armada. Before a single bomb can fall on Iran, someone has to deal with the air defenses. Iran operates what's called an integrated air defense system, a layered network of radars, surface-to-air missiles, and interceptor aircraft designed to detect and destroy anything flying toward its territory. It has taken hits from previous Israeli and American strikes, but it is still functional. And for conventional aircraft, it is still lethal. So the first aircraft into any conflict with Iran wouldn't be bombers. They'd be these 12 F-22 Raptors, the most capable air superiority fighter ever built. The F-22's job is twofold. First, keep Iranian fighters away from US strike packages. No Iranian interceptor is getting through an F-22 screen. The aircraft simply isn't in Iran's inventory that can challenge it. Second, act as a flying intelligence hub. The Raptor's sensor suite maps the entire battle space in real time and shares that picture with every other platform in theater. It doesn't just fight. It thinks for the whole force. Now, 30 F-35As. The F-35A does this with a modern twist. Its sensor Its sensor fusion capability processes data from multiple onboard systems simultaneously, allowing the pilot to sight in the window between when it switches on and it moves. Because Iran's missile batteries use what's called shoot. They fire, then immediately reposition before they can be targeted. The F-35A is fast enough, stealthy enough, and smart enough to beat that clock. And then there's the F-35C, the carrier-based variant operating from the Abraham Lincoln. Same capability, different launch point, which matters enormously because it means Iran has to defend against aircraft coming from two completely different directions at once. Stealth gets you through the door, but a weeks-long air campaign requires industrial-scale delivery of bombs. That's what these next aircraft are for. 36 F-15E Strike Eagles. 3 complete squadrons pulled from bases in the UK, North Carolina, and Idaho. The F-15E can carry 23,000 pounds of weapons. That is more than any other tactical aircraft in the US inventory. Once the F-22s and F-35s have dismantled Iran's air defenses, the Eagles follow, carrying precision-guided munitions to a target list that could number in the hundreds. And 48 F-16 Fighting Falcons, drawn from bases in Italy, Germany, and South Carolina. The F-16 fleet serves 2 roles. Offensively, more strike aircraft, more targets hit simultaneously, but defensively, and this is critical, the F-16s are the manned layer of the counter-drone network. Iran's primary asymmetric weapon is swarms of cheap drones. Their mission, blind Iran's radar systems. Their mission, blind Iran's radar systems, not destroy them, blind them. Flood the electromagnetic spectrum with jamming signals so that Iranian radar operators see noise instead of aircraft. The Growler works in tandem with the F-35A Wild Weasels. The Growler degrades the picture. They physically destroys the emitter. Together, they don't just defeat Iran's air defenses, they erase them. Then there's the E-3 Sentry, 6 of them, representing roughly 40% of America's entire operational AWACS fleet. The E-3 is the Air Battle Manager. That rotating dome on top of the aircraft contains a radar that can track anything flying across hundreds of miles. Every aircraft in theater talks through it. Every threat gets logged in it. It is the brain of the air operation. The problem, and this is worth knowing, is that the E-3 fleet is old, aging airframe. Engines that are no longer in production, and a mission-capable rate of under 56%, committing 40% of what's left of this one theater means if something goes wrong in the Pacific, the US has almost nothing left to send. And for E-11A, BACN aircraft, Battlefield Airborne Communication. Here's the problem it solves. 5th-generation aircraft like the F-22, F-35 use different, more secure data links than older F-15s and F-16s. Without a bridge between them, they cannot share a common picture of the battle space. They'd be flying the same skies and effectively blind to each other. The E-11A is that bridge. It translates between systems in real time, allowing every aircraft, regardless of generation, to see the same threat, picture and coordinate as a single force. 4 of them at one base is unprecedented. Now to the centerpiece of the entire build-up. 2 aircraft carriers. The USS Abraham Lincoln has been on station in the Arabian Sea since late January. In early February, it shot down an Iranian Shahed drone that approached the carrier group. It has already been tested. It has already responded. Its air wing carries F-35C stealth fighters, FA-18 Super Hornets, and EA-18G Growlers. 3 Arleigh Burke destroyers escort it, each carrying the Aegis combat system and anti-ballistic missile interceptors. And then there is the Gerald R. Ford. The Ford-class carrier is in a different category from everything that came before it. Its electromagnetic aircraft launch system, EMALS, replaces the old steam catapult with a precision electric launch that can send aircraft into the air faster, more frequently, and with greater control. That translates directly into higher sortie rates, more missions per day, more bombs on target. The Ford was redeployed from the Caribbean. That is not a routine rotation. That is a decision made at the highest levels of the Pentagon to bring the most capable warship in the world to this specific theater at this specific moment. 2 carriers together don't just double the strike capacity, they open 2 simultaneous axes of attack. They allow 24-hour flight operations with crews rotating through, and they force Iran to defend every direction at once. everything we've discussed so far, the stealth aircraft, the strike fighters, the carriers, all of it serves one central strategic purpose. And to understand that purpose, you need to understand one specific facility. Fordow, Iran's most protected nuclear enrichment site sits inside a mountain, under 80 to 100 meters of solid granite rock. That depth was chosen deliberately. It was engineered to survive conventional bombardment. Standard precision-guided bombs cannot reach it. The rock absorbs the energy before the explosion gets anywhere near the machinery inside. There is exactly one conventional weapon in the world capable of destroying Fordow. The GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, 30,000 pounds, the largest conventional bomb ever built. It uses a high-density steel casing to punch through rock and reinforced concrete. GPS guidance keeps it on course, and its fuse doesn't detonate on impact. It counts floors. It measures material density as it drives downward. It waits until it has reached optimal depth inside the target structure, and only then detonates. 14 of these were dropped in Operation Midnight Hammer. There is only one aircraft that can carry it, the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber. And Diego Garcia, the British territory in the Indian Ocean, 2,000 miles from Iran, has been listed as a potential B-2 staging base in this build-up. The pieces are in place again. Any serious military planner knows that striking Iran doesn't end the problem. It begins a new one, because Iran will retaliate. Ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, drone swarms aimed at US bases across the region and at American allies. The defensive architecture assembled here is designed to absorb that retaliation. THAAD batteries, Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, have been confirmed at bases in Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. THAAD intercepts ballistic missiles in their terminal phase as they descend through the upper atmosphere using a kinetic kill vehicle that destroys the warhead through sheer impact. No explosive warhead, just mass, moving very fast. Patriot batteries cover the lower tier. Cruise missiles, shorter range ballistic missiles, and aircraft. At Al Udeid in Qatar, they've been photographed mounted on mobile truck launchers, meaning they can reposition rapidly if Iran gets targeting intelligence on their location. And tying all of this together, the MEAD-CDOC, the Middle Eastern Air Defense Combined Defense Operations Cell. 17 nations, all represented in a single coordination center at Al Udeid, sharing early warning data and synchronizing intercept decisions across the entire region in real time. It is, in effect, a single integrated shield spanning multiple countries. It didn't exist before January 2026. Now, and this matters, what does Iran do in response? Iran cannot win a conventional air war with the United States. It knows that. Its strategy is not to beat the US military, it's to make the cost of using that military unbearable. The IRGC has a doctrine called smart control of the Strait of Hormuz. It uses AI-driven swarms of drones to create thousands of simultaneous radar returns. The goal is what military analysts call cognitive saturation. Not to destroy US ships, but to overwhelm the human operators behind the screens until the decision loop breaks down. Then there is the energy weapon. The Strait of Hormuz carries 21 million barrels of oil every single day. A sustained Iranian disruption to that flow could push Brent crude toward $100, even $150 per barrel. The global economic consequences would be felt in every country on Earth. And then there is the factor that makes every military planner in Washington lose sleep. Russia and China. Both nations are currently conducting joint naval drills with Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. A Chinese destroyer, a Russian corvette, operating in the same waters as Iranian assets. Their presence is not accidental. It is a message. Any US strike that results in Russian or Chinese casualties, even collateral, even marginal, becomes something else entirely. The targeting logic for every mission has to account for where those ships are.